Ladies and gentlemen, it is September 1st, 2022. On October 11th, we're going to have the second Durham probe trial. Now, you might say, oh, well, that's not that big of a deal. He didn't indict or he didn't convict Sussman, and that really ignores the importance of this special counsel. Now, just like the Mueller probe, remember Mueller time, Democrats? This is a special counsel. We already got a plea deal. Kevin Kleinsmith, one of the top Bureau officials, pled guilty to falsifying information and deceiving a FISA judge in order to keep investigations going into Trump's campaign. Durham is now, you could say 1-1, or you could say 2-0, depending how you're looking at it, because the last trial saw Mark Elias and Robbie Mook point the finger at Hillary Clinton in a court of law for the first time in the history of mankind. It's never happened before. They blamed Hillary, or they said that it was her decision or idea or plot to share false information, knowingly false information, to media pertaining to the Alpha Bank server nonsense that her campaign helped create, along with the Steele dossier, absurd, baseless claims that her campaign helped create. I want a Hillary Trump 2024, as you know. Okay, we need to relive 2016, because every single day is this alternate universe derived from 2016 when Clinton defeated Clinton. Well, basically that's what happened when Trump defeated Clinton. They still haven't come to terms with that. But here, Russian national indicted for making false statements to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. This is the Department of Justice. Defendant allegedly lied about the source of information provided to the Federal Bureau of Investigation during 2016. He's indicted under 5 counts of making false statements. He's going to get convicted on at least one count. So Durham will convict, John Durham will be the lead prosecutor, by the way. And that's a huge story because he wasn't the lead prosecutor. He actually didn't, make any statements or, he wasn't really involved in the trial, in the first trial. He's taking the reins, and he already put a Federal Bureau of Investigation official in Boston behind bars. So John Durham has done this before. You might say, well, nothing's ever going to happen. There's a lot of reasons to be interested in this, ladies and gentlemen. So hit subscribe to this channel right now. It is September 1st, 2022. We're going to get to over 200,000 subs because of you. I'm going to read you this article. Judge rejects Danchenko effort to use classified information in Durham trial. Very interesting. It's interesting, Danchenko, the Steele subsource, like Sussman, didn't actually, he lied, but he very likely didn't deceive. He deceived the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which is why he'll get convicted. But everyone there within the Bureau, the top level officials, didn't really care. They just wanted a pretext to investigate Trump. The notion that these people were apolitical is absurd. You would have to be a complete imbecile. You have Andrew McCabe believing that. Andrew McCabe is now working for CNN. You have John Brennan, James Clapper, who were contributors to MSNBC. You have the Clinton's campaign chairman was a columnist for a certain point at the Washington Post. It's like the whole system is after Trump. And they might, I think the likelihood of them indicting Trump on a crime he didn't commit, whether it's linked to January or Mar-a-Lago, he's already up 2.2 points over Mashed Potato Brains Joe, our wonderful president. That's according to Real Clear Politics, ladies and gentlemen. Real Clear Politics. That's with all of media and the entire American political system against Orange Man. We had record highs in household median income under Trump, a record low in poverty under Trump, according to CNN. And you could look at the St. Louis Fed data or any Federal Reserve chart or any economic data on Trump's administration in 2019, 2017, 2018, 2019, especially 2019. We had an amazing economy. The last year of his presidency, Democrats, media, bureaucrats, gleefully, in the most apoplectic and hysterical manner, tanked the U.S. Economy. And really ruined society for about 2 years, a little over 2 years or so. Around 2 years. But anyway, 2019, we had record highs in household median income, record lows in poverty, we had a great foreign policy, we didn't have the geopolitical nightmare in Europe, and there's an economic catastrophe now in Europe. We are experiencing, and hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. I'll have a segment today on the Stock Market Crash channel. The Dow is going to go way below 30,000. We are going to see, unfortunately, and I predicted this in September of 2021 and in October of 2021 in the Federalist, my website, hagoodman.com, and you can read my writing in the Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Jerusalem Post will be updated. I'll have a very important Jerusalem Post op-ed and my Federalist article on the top of the website, and then I'll have, I have my profile pic. I'm updating it. You'll love it. Hit subscribe to this channel. Hit subscribe also to the Stock Market Crash channel, and then H.A. Goodman's other channel. I'll have a segment today. September, going forward, we have, and if you want to give a super thanks, your super thanks is greatly appreciated. If you want to support my work long-term, my Patreon is below, ladies and gentlemen. But from here on out, we have important special counsel John Durham trial in October. We have November midterms. We have Trump eventually, whether he's indicted or not, running for president. I don't think he's gonna shy away from running. So, if he was indicted, he'd be indicted simply because you have loyalists of the Democratic Party within government agencies aligned with media who despise this man more than anything on the planet. And they have a very irrational obsession with taking down Trump. It would be like what I want people to understand also is Trump getting indicted would be emotionally and just in terms of like psychologically, it would be like it wouldn't be a good feeling to realize that the entire United States government and media and most of American society is against a man who presided over record highs in household median income and record lows in poverty when he was president in 2019 and got us out of numerous regions of the world. Anyone who gives credit to Mashed Potato Brains Joe for actually implementing the Doha Agreement in the most botched, terrible manner and saying that he got us out of that region of the world is an absolute imbecile. It was Trump who negotiated a May 1st, 2021 withdrawal with logical stipulations. The country would have fallen, but he wouldn't have left billions in weaponry. You wouldn't have seen people falling from airplanes. You wouldn't have seen the carnage, and those 13 Americans would have been alive today. That didn't happen because Biden didn't even have a plan. He didn't even know that he really wanted to leave until around May or June, and then in that summer, they decided, okay, you know what, after the date that was agreed upon. But see, again, it was Trump who reversed failed U.S. foreign policy. Okay, if you're on the left, there's actually, there are numerous articles written in 2016 about the liberal case. It's actually true. Trump, in terms of foreign policy and in terms of economic policy, is a much better liberal than anything Democrats have to offer. You're happy about 10 or 20 grand in student loan debt? That's only for certain people, by the way. Okay. You have household median incomes at record highs, but you have real wages down 4.4% with inflation. We didn't have 8% inflation. It was like 2 to 3%. It's now 8 to 9% inflation. That's Biden's fault. That's Democrats. You're voting for recession. You're literally voting for a prolonged recession because the again, hysterical, maniacal laser focus on saving the planet It's like you don't know if any of your policies are going to make a dent in terms of climate change. You just feel good while you're tanking the economy and flooding strategic petroleum reserves. So you're doing, I mean, these people are doing the opposite of what they claim to be, and, you know, they're engaging in activity that's the antithesis of what they claim to uphold. They say, oh, we have to save the planet, and they're flooding strategic petroleum reserves. And they say, oh, well, we're going to go ahead and, abolish student loan debt. It's like, well, but we have a recession now. The economy is shrinking. The economy is shrinking, and there's layoffs on the horizon. And you have a derivatives nightmare, ladies and gentlemen, just like 2008. And I wrote about that in my Federalist article. I mean, this thing, the entire global economy and the U.S. economy is about to implode, unfortunately. It's worse than even I thought in 2021. And so you have a situation where the only thing they can do is indict Trump. Politically, it's like they're cornered. But also, the Durham probe special counsel would be probably one of the reasons. We had a Federal Bureau of Investigation official just forced out for suppressing the Hunter Biden story. Okay? The laptop, far more incriminating than taking a photo of classified data. It's like, well, he was president of the United States of America. So what? So he had the cover of information that said top secret. Okay. Clinton siphoned classified data outside of the U.S. government. I'll be doing shorts, actually. I was told by my YouTube rep to do shorts, so I'll be doing shorts, and I'll be talking about that on the shorts. I'll actually be talking about the words of government officials, and they'll be speaking, and I'll be giving my thoughts. But ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now. You might say, well, you didn't really talk too much about the Durham probe. It's like, well, the Durham probe's in October. At least you got that much out of this segment. The Durham probe is in October. Be excited about it. I know that sounds bizarre, but it's very important. You get a conviction. He'll convict the Steele subsource on at least one count. Okay. What Danchenko should have done is just gotten a plea deal with Durham. There's no reason he could get at least all 5 counts, or 3 out of the 5, or 2 out of the 5. Okay, Sussman was a high-powered attorney in D.C. that got even James Baker, the guy he lied to kind of go to bat for him. Sussman had a whole lot of advantages that the Steele subsource doesn't. Okay, if there's any way to kind of like get some kind of plea deal going, the subsource should, instead of going to trial, but maybe it's too late. But the point is, you're going to get a conviction, and then the whole thing, once you get a major conviction, the Durham probe special counsel will completely undermine any belief. There shouldn't be any belief at all that the Dossier and the Russia probe and Mueller probe was even legitimate. It was completely illegitimate. There was not a shred of evidence that Trump ever colluded. James Clapper himself, if anyone says, oh, that's not true, James Clapper said, oh, we don't have any evidence. And then Mueller, because he was so embarrassed that he couldn't find anything to indict Trump, said, oh, there's a lot of suspicious activity. Okay, there's a lot of suspicious activity, 20% of U.S. uranium capacity being sold to you-know-who. Which is worse? Polling data from Manafort? I mean, are you kidding me? And then the Kremlin hacked the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated. And then there's Facebook ads. And they make up everything. And you have everyone from The Atlantic to Rolling Stone to Vanity Fair, Esquire, New York Times, the New Yorker, New York Magazine. They all have the same person writing and the same person editing, and it's just the same publication. You have all of media, late night, social media algorithms, and still Trump is up over mashed potato 2.2 points. Anyway, hit subscribe to this channel right now. The Durham Pro Special Counsel is very important. I'll be doing numerous segments on that today. Start paying attention to the Durham probe. Thank you.